Mike, thank you very much for joining us. I know you've been sitting here in the top job in social services for a little over 3 years now. Time flies, and you've been in the department in different capacities. But what does the Department of Social Services do?
Well, we do a lot of stuff. It's we're kind of the unknown department that, except for the 80,000 people that come to us annually for assistance. Technically, under NRS 428, we're mandated to provide aid and relief to the indigent. So we provide a series of programs to Clark County's neediest citizens who also don't have access to other local or state programs. And that's sort of important because there's a kind of a misunderstanding about who provides what kind of services at both the state level and the county level. So, for example, children with families, they are eligible for assistance through state welfare, through TANF programs. So most likely they're not going to be eligible for services for us because we're a payer, kind of a payer of last resort, truly indigent people, and so they would go to state welfare. So essentially, social service in the county provides, we serve mostly adults without children.
Tell me about some of the some types of assistance and types of programs that are available for your customers.
We do have a lot of the sort of, I want to say, old school kind of public welfare programs, things they used to call general relief. So if someone comes in and has no money, so we have a program for financial assistance. So we pay rent and utilities, and it's really, it's more like a homeless prevention kind of program, but we pay about $9 million a year for rent and utilities. We also, which people don't know, we do a burials and cremation program. So for indigent decedents, people who have been abandoned or unclaimed bodies, we work with local mortuaries, and we serve as the payer. We have a system where the mortuaries have to go through a pretty rigorous process to make sure that this is in fact someone that's unclaimed or they have no family or next of kin. But then if that's the case, then we as the county are mandated to provide that burial or cremation service. We also have a robust transportation program to reunify individuals who may be stranded here or end up busted out here, but they have somewhere else that they can go, and there's a support system for them. So we'll pay for a bus ticket. We have case management services, kind of what people think is what people confuse social service and social workers. Now, we do have social workers, and we do a lot of social work, but we also do we don't do clinical work, we do a lot of case management. So if we have, for example, clients who have barriers to employment, they could be disabled, or they could have been out of the workplace for a while, or they could be coming out of one of our juvenile detention or one of our detention facilities. So they may need some hand-holding, a little work, a little motivation to help them get back into productive workforce. So we have a program that works with clients to do that as well.
Tough problem to combat, and obviously many different agencies involved in.
Tell me,
and finally, give me some examples of some of the grant programs involved here in social services.
What a lot of people don't know is that we do a lot of grant development and grant administration. We have probably 40 grant-funded employees now, and millions of dollars in grant funds. So we have a lot of those that are focused on really directly working with the community partners to address our homeless issues. So we pass through a lot of funding that we apply for to HUD or to state agencies. We write the grants. We end up being the fiscal administrator. We also directly run some really state-of-the-art evidence-based practice programs for housing first models to place chronically homeless individuals directly into housing, and we do the intensive case management on that. We have about 100 scattered site units of permanent supportive housing that we directly administer. So that's kind of on our social service side. What you mentioned, that I've been in the county a long time, but only here for 3 years and change. So in my prior life, I was the manager of community resources management, which is kind of a hub for federal programs for community development and housing. So I don't know what I was thinking, but when I took this job, I said, well, let me bring that program with me, because it seemed like the right thing to do at the time. But wow, it's a lot of extra work. But so those programs we've run those programs for some 20 years, and they really provide a great community service. Things like the Community Development Block Grant Program, which we have probably one of the most innovative approaches to administering that program in the country. We develop a capital plan. So we say, we're going to get, over 5 years, we're going to project a stream of revenue from the CDBG program of $25 million. So now let's do 10 really important projects over this next 5 years with that money. And the county can front some of that money so we can get started, and then we pay ourselves back with the CDBG program. We've done the Doc Pearson Community Center. We've done a couple of expansion projects to the Winchester Community Center. We're the driving force behind the Shannon West Homeless Youth Shelter, the new shelter. Legal Aid's new office building down in Charleston, that was a CDBG capital project. Community counseling, we currently have Nevada Partners. They're building a brand new workforce development center. We have our outside agency grant program, which is a non-federal program, which is another one of those, I love it, but boy, is it a lot of effort. This is a program where the county puts up general fund money to make it available to our local nonprofit groups. And so every year we do an annual solicitation, and we get every nonprofit that wants to do good things in this community, and they apply for these funds. And we go through a rating and ranking process and deliberatively come up with a list of 70 or 80 nonprofits that we end up funding, and we enter into grant agreements with, and we have to manage those and administer those. But it's the gamut of stuff, from Boys and Girls Club to child care to senior programs to respite care. It's the whole 9 yards. I could go on. We have lots of other grant programs, but I think the thing is that we really try to be an incubator for community activities and kind of drive and bring partners together. And someone has an idea, like, well, they have this idea over here too. Let's put them together, figure out a funding source, and see if we can't make it happen. 2, 3. Remember the Boulder Highway Collaborative Campus? That was conceived in our last 5-year capital plan. We were doing the home program and the CDBG at the same time, and we had people coming in. One group wanted to do 300 units of family housing, and somebody wanted to do a Boys and Girls Club, and somebody wanted to do a resource center, like a family resource center. And so we put them all together, wrapped them into several funding streams, and now what was a big vacant site out on Boulder Highway that was kind of an old abandoned car wash, and is now a fully fleshed out campus with Lutheran Social Service on the front end with their food bank and all their services, and some other nonprofits in that center. Boys and Girls Club has a brand new 10,000 square foot campus there. There's a charter school on the backside, and Nevada Hand has 300 units of family affordable housing there, and it's all wrapped up and made possible through our federal and local funding sources.
One of your major success stories. Thank
Yeah,
you very
that's
much
great.
for spending time with us, Michael.
Well, thank you for giving us the opportunity. I appreciate it, Randy.